Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for September 1st to the 7th of 2024. So our quote for the week says, "You don't need anyone's permission to change your mind, shift your direction, or experiment with doing things differently." Deep breath. We have the change agents engaged this week. We have the Virgo new moon and a very special money pouring we're going to do with Yay. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Mars is mixing it up. So the sacred masculine and Mercury retrograde is finally gone forward, but it still has some final hits to make to tie it all up. So our week kicks off on Sunday the 1st with Uranus retrograding in Taurus until January 30th of 2025. Every year, this retrograde helps us integrate all the shakeups of that particular year. The silver lining has been more personal presence, being in the moment and in your body, on the ground. That is the liberating ordeal happening as we learn what it means to really be a spirit in human form, surviving on a living, breathing organism. Change is the only constant, and there is nothing new under the sun. We were actually made for this, but patriarchy and Western culture has tried to strip us of our instincts and connections to Gaia, but that will never work on those anchored in their hearts and souls and bodies. The years Uranus spends in Taurus, which is 2018 to 2026, so only about a year to go, are teaching us how to be fully embodied, awakened stewards of the earth, which is much more natural for our species. The personal planets will interact with Uranus and Taurus in a similar way every year, so we can consciously co-create with it every year, and its annual retrograde is a special time to assimilate the changes you've been going through. Uranus is a collective planet, so it affects many people and takes 7+ years to accomplish its mission in each sign, which represents the lesson. It will awaken the Taurus department of life, or the house in your chart, and stimulate any of your planets in Taurus, Scorpio, or Leo, Aquarius by default. Also, I'd say here and now is a good time to reflect on the liberating ordeal that you went through over the previous 7 years when it stimulated and awakened your Aries department during 2010 to 2019. How it felt as it moved through Taurus, because it will wake up our Gemini department next during 2025 to 2033. So there's probably some overlap and back and forth and retrograde dipping back in to the end of Taurus to over 25, 26, and then it'll be fully in Gemini by then. So now that it's almost done in Taurus, you can start to reap the benefits and integrate the recent radical shifts that your identity and purpose, which was the Aries time, went through, and the focus and thus the lesson and blessings have now shifted to the physical values and priorities of Taurus that support the newly awakened, emergent self and how that works on the ground, in your body, on the earth, in real time. Then as it moves through Gemini, it will awaken your consciousness and hopefully activate your unique genius and not more crazy, but we'll see. Meantime, I've been sharing an article from another astrologer named Stephen Forrest that I will link here in the blog. Check that out when you get a chance. It's a little brief overview of Uranus and Taurus. So we get to, like it says, start reaping the benefits of the last several years. It's all been in Taurus, waking things up, shaking things up, and changing things around. That's what Uranus does. It awakens our consciousness, and we can't go back. Like, you can't unknow what you know. So once you've been cracked open, you kind of got to deal with what comes out of that. Same day Sunday, Pluto, which is retrograde, re-enters Capricorn until November 19th. That'll be when it finally moves into Aquarius and keeps on going. It has taken over a year to fully enter Aquarius, and so this will be the final dip into Capricorn to complete its mission. Pluto has been in a long process of purification and transformation during 2008 to 2024, a full 16 years. And it retrogrades annually too, right? Which facilitates an evolution on a much more subtle level. Although if your chart is activated, it may not feel so subtle to you. On a personal level, Pluto helps you dig up any destructive unconscious patterns, strips you raw, and confronts you with who you are and how you will survive when nothing and no one else is available to help or support you. I also like to think of Pluto as our buried treasures, and like diamonds, it often requires a very special task to release from within and bring into the light the toughest, best, and brightest part of you. It takes work, it doesn't just happen, y'all. Often, because Pluto rules death, rebirth, and transformation, something is sacrificed for your own greater good. Although it may be sometimes painful and debilitating, it doesn't have to be. But it almost always is A, necessary, and B, ultimately liberating. This is another area where we call it a liberating ordeal, which is never easy, but always worth it. Pluto is traveling through the final degree of Capricorn in your chart, digging deep and activating any other planets you may have in late Capricorn or Cancer, Aries, Libra by default. So it's good to look at this as an ongoing purification and transformation of these departments in life. Pluto moves generations and great numbers of people along their evolutionary path. However, every year when it retrogrades, it turns that energy inward, giving us unique access to our own depths where our soul self resides. When it goes forward, which this year will be October 11th, then it is a very gradual awakening process that develops from there. Transformation happens behind the scenes and often away from the prying eyes of others, as well as your own conscious monkey mind. This is deep transformational soul work that only you can do. What have you really purified and transformed this year? Or what would you like to? Use this time to set intentions for purification in the sense that you are supported to strip away the non-essential and reconnect with your purest original intent. Change is greatly supported at this time, so anything that you are really ready, truly willing, and finally able to change can be transformed forever. Capricorn gets everyone focused on choices and responsibilities, as well as the structure of your life that supports and protects you, and the overall stability of whatever house it rules. This is where you should channel your energies and focus to improve at this time. Deep breath. That's Sunday. Then Monday is the Virgo new moon. The Virgo new moon comes every year and presents us with an opportunity to reboot the system, your individual system, which often entails creating a whole new personal routine as well. Theoretically, during the last lunation, Leo Aquarius, we decided that we were going to express with more integrity and authenticity, and what we were going to invest in self and community with more energy and resources, because there are now new values and priorities at this time. Virgo time supports integrating all that you've learned about your core essential nature recently into a new routine and creating a completely new system for living that will support you better in the here and now. It's time to digest, assimilate, and integrate the last 9 months specifically. Also deeply supported this month is acknowledging and releasing any regrets, mourning any true losses or deaths, and deepening your dedication to that which is vital, strong, healthy, and evolving within and around you. Pre-harvest assessments, which happen during August-September every year, always reveal what does or does not support your physical and spiritual selves, that spirit in human form. Twice a year, during February, March, and August-September, we have to take a time out to check in on the physical body during Virgo time and the spiritual being during Pisces time. If you're really healthy, great. But if you have pushed yourself to the limits, it's time to pull back and recalibrate. We also have to check in with our spiritual being. If your practice is strong and supporting you, great. But if you have neglected your yoga or meditation, silence or sleep, then this is the best time to reboot the system and dedicate to a new routine. As we approach the harvest for the year 2024, keep in mind that everything is a response to the last thing and preparation for the next thing. So as you connect to what you love and your authentic self in Leo, you shift to how to anchor that new emergent self in your day-to-day life in Virgo, so that you are individually secure as you move toward Libra. That is the time to cultivate relationship and or engage with others on some level. It is also a great time of year to address any imbalances in your life as we approach our one of two opportunities each year to tune into physical, literal balance at the equinoxes. So deep breath, we're approaching that. But this Monday, September 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, we have opened up Yeye's Patreon that we normally do the money pouring for them, but we want to invite everybody. All of our communities are encouraged to share this far and wide. There is a link to register, which we also don't usually do because it's not open to the public. We would love for you to join us and listen to Yeye's special announcement. We've been cooking up something backstage and we're ready to share it with you. We always gather for the new moon to do the money pouring ritual, which is basically about abundance and good health and being magnetic and keeping your field strong, repelling what you don't want, magnetizing what you do want. And we plant our seeds at the new moon. So this is a huge seed planting that we would love you all to be part of the root of something pretty miraculous that we're birthing in the next year or two, but is being conceived right now, and we need you. And we invite you to participate. So that Virgo new moon is supporting this route, as is even this challenge with Mars to Neptune, because we are challenging ourselves to expand our vision and think differently and to call in something that we know can serve the social collective in bigger ways, but also support and protect us as individuals along the way as we make our contributions and share our unique genius with each other and try to uplift this planet and elevate some of these energies that have been holding us down and been really heavy, right? We're going to lighten some of that up. But Neptune's in a huge process right now, and it's at 29 degrees Pisces. The end of the cycle, which is Aries to Pisces. Pisces is the last degree of the last sign on a planet that takes 165 years to make it around. So it's a pretty big deal. Mars makes it personal, and a square is a challenge to grow. So this energy can feel rather bothersome, to say the least. Essentially, you might encounter challenges directly linked to past choices. These are the very choices that you eventually realized were mistaken, hoping that somehow their consequences would pass you by. Sadly, they don't. You may experience a deep discouragement, perhaps even a sense of depression, coupled with feelings of fear or doubt. To navigate through this energy, take a step back, reflect upon your choices that led to this point, and then, as objectively as you can, assess what went awry. Amidst this energy, the inclination is to abandon entirely the path that you've chosen, when all that is truly needed might just be a few adjustments. Strive to pinpoint the conflicting aspect causing this inner turmoil. If objectivity feels elusive or identifying the issue proves challenging, seek the opinions of two others and then trust your own instincts on the direction to pursue. There is also a temptation to be deceptive, whether to yourself or others. Resist this urge as it will return to haunt you later, perhaps even more strongly. Your physical energy may also feel diminished. Avoid forcing yourself into actions that don't resonate right now. Instead, contemplate what actions might be necessary once your energy returns. Embrace stillness. Refrain from engaging in confrontations with others, for this energy nudges you beyond your comfort zone into new territory. You must consider this a test of sorts. Confront your fears and clarify your desires. It is the most effective way to manage this energy. Regarding these two planets, Mars and Neptune, creating a challenging angle, reflect on actions taken that have not worked toward fulfilling your dreams. That is where the tweaking can commence. Okay, deep breath. Mars is who you are and what you want. It's your sacred masculine, the part of you that negotiates on your own behalf, gets your ideas in the world, and holds good boundaries. So if it's challenging in Gemini, because it's got all these ideas it needs to make choices, Neptune can make us a little fuzzy on all that. I say go to your spirit team, because it's still the best way to confirm whatever you are intuiting and to try to validate yourself along the way that you do know how to intuit right timing for right choices and actions for yourself. And maybe a little forgiveness needs to happen for the poor choices of the past. We've all been there where we weren't focused on the right things. We were all over here and missed something right under our noses. We're asking for that clarity, right? What we say, to confront your fears and clarify your desires, because that's Mars's domain, right? And Neptune has a bigger process going on right now. And we've already been blessed by Saturn being at the end of Pisces, first time in 30 years, to help us create and anchor and fortify these spiritual practices so that the results we're getting, that's our tangible return. But it seems to be working better, let me just say, working with the invisible team. I feel like the humans are unavailable for consultation because everybody's crazy. Everybody's going through something. We all have families going through stuff, and where some of us are doing okay, some of us are not doing so okay. And it's a lot to carry. And when we're dealing with Gemini, Sag, and Virgo, Pisces, what do I always remind you? It's processing time. And when it's Virgo, it's processing in the body, which our actual physical, literal system can handle. So we want to get that checkup and check in with how healthy you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually and physically, right? So let's just give ourselves that time. Virgo's the virgin who is whole unto herself. This is where we return to our real individual base, because the idea is that we move through Cancer, what makes us feel secure, and Leo, what's really authentic and what do we really want to share in terms of our light. When we get to Virgo, it's how do we put it together? How do we manifest it and make it real? And if we can secure that internally, where now we've got our internal security, we've got our self-love in check, and our health, our balanced health and well-being, then mixing it up with Libra and Scorpio and Sag, going to be intimate with other people or to partner with other people or to learn and do classes and educational communities, which we are all forming because we're all learning from, different teachers that are all cross-pollinating and expanding our networks. This is the year for that. We've been in that. But if we're not healthy, we're not going to be able to handle that big, beautiful vision that we're calling in. So taking this pause for the cause once a year around Virgo time is not a bad idea. Try to sync up with the rhythm that works for you. And if you want some help figuring out what it's supposed to be or what it can be, then of course, reach out. Which leads us to Wednesday the 4th, when Mars is going to enter Cancer until November 3rd. So a solid 2 months. This, we would normally say, is Mars takes 2 years to make it around back to Cancer. So it's about 2 years ago, 2022-ish, when Mars was last in Cancer. Moving through that zone is a powerful energy to co-create with once every 2 years, but it's going to go into Leo and retrograde. So the reset and the retrograde in Leo means we have to reset and change some things in our Leo department so we can go forward in Cancer. This Cancer is what we call pre-shadow. This is happening before the retrograde. So things that start coming up in your Cancer Leo department that Mars is triggering or activating, however you want to look at that, this is a very special occasion. But we're going to take it one step at a time. Mars is about who you are and what you want, your goals, and how you make moves to accomplish them. It inspires your actions and choices and rules the sacred masculine part of your nature. As I said, that's the part of you that negotiates on your own behalf, gets your ideas in the world, and holds good boundaries. In watery Cancer, actions are motivated by emotions and feelings. The Cancer crab moves backwards and sideways before it goes forward, and that can frustrate Mars's natural inclinations. It is best to use that energy to get in touch with how you really feel about your own identity and purpose. It is time to up your game in the self-care department. We are preparing for Mars to linger here, extending the mental journey that we just went through to reset our bodies and physical rhythms so that we can go forward with those creative ideas and bigger dreams. Delegate what you can and consciously direct your energy toward the current priority. Look at your Cancer house, especially because this is a once in 2 years initiation of managing your personal life in new and different ways. Recalibrate your home and work schedules according to your feeling nature, not your ego or your monkey mind. What feels right to you, the individual? When Mars is in Cancer, as I said, our choices and actions are much more influenced by feelings than facts. So devote some time to improving your sacred space, your private little corner of the world where it is, can, and should be all about you in a good way, in a replenishing way. It's time to create your comfort zone, set up your space, and prepare your energy to be poured into passion and creativity once Mars moves into Leo. Or at least that is what would normally happen. However, this year, Mars will retrograde in Leo. So use this pre-shadow time to fortify yourself to go deeper on a personal level. Okay, deep breath. So we're probably going to expose a few things about our personal insecurities and things that we need to heal and put together better and do another way. And a lot of times, we just need a nap. We just need to take a little better care of ourselves so that when we are pouring out energy to our families or friends or communities or work or whatever, that we're pouring from a full cup. That's how we all, especially in the service business of helping people, that's a lot of energy. Meantime, that was Wednesday the 4th, and that is when we will have our monthly Soul Sister Circle, which is animal medicine. And I know, trigger warning, that some people are not into spiders, but I love spiders and have a lot of grandmother energy and special magic that has happened with spiders for me all my life. And so I find it to be a beautiful, amazing, magical medicine. If you would like to join us, it is a subscription. You can drop in. It's only $25 for the replay and all the tools and goodies that go with it. If you want to know what spider can really help us with, I've broken it down with prayers and affirmations and tools and journal prompts. The Mad Libs are like fill in the blanks. They're all fun. But we do it all around order and organization, systems and practices, weaving and synthesis. These are things spider can help us with. Work and purpose, variety and uniqueness, safety and protection, and also discernment, sustenance, and weaving skills. So it's pretty juicy, and you're more than welcome to join us, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. This is a conference call, not a Zoom. And we usually get together on the first Wednesday of every month to honor a different animal. I will say, for those of you who do subscribe to that one, I'm dreaming up something new for 2025, organizing the animals a different way. So stay tuned for some new goodies to go with the regular goodies that we've been working with that are so supportive. This is another way to go at it. Y'all know most of the time I'm talking about these planets and we're all up in our upper chakras and connected to the sky and our consciousness and these ideas. But with the animal medicine, we get in our body and we think a little more literally and we work on ourselves. So join us there if you feel called. Then we jump to Friday the 6th when Mercury will square Uranus for the third and final time. So this has been part of the Mercury retrograde process. So now we can really take this one and run with it. The first hit was July 21st. The second hit was August 18th. And of course this week, September 6th. So this energy presents a challenge by urging you to broaden your consciousness, prompting a shift in your thinking or thought patterns, and encouraging new and different responses to information as it is presented. Uranus triggers sudden realizations, personal revelations, and revolutionary concepts ideal for adventurous souls who tend to thrive on change and innovation. However, if you are deeply attached to routines and the predictability of plans, this energy might cause frustration, taxing your nervous system as things appear to be sudden, even though they have more likely been simmering beneath the surface for some time now. Flexibility and openness become crucial, requiring an adjustment to accommodate the heightened mental activity and information influx, although controlling it entirely might prove challenging. Okay, so we want to channel it, we won't be able to control it. Consider recalibrating your personal filters by spending time in nature, allowing yourself to process thoughts at your own pace and clear your mind. This period fosters immense inspiration, innovation, and creativity. This is the lower mind and higher mind, kicking it in a square, which is a challenge to grow, yes, but it's also a 90-degree angle, which stabilizes things and creates a form and foundation that allows you to step up and out to a new level. And we want to lean into those. We don't want to run away from those challenges to grow. We want to be mindful that anything initiated now may also need a review later, prompting a meticulous examination of the details of any revelations or creations that have been inspired, right, at this time. You're merely scratching the surface. This phase emphasizes revelation and awakening, eventually leading to the practical logistics and effective actions required to materialize your ideas, dreams, and visions, because that's what this is stirring up too. And it's Leo to Taurus. So we're still looking at self-worth and self-value, but also personal security issues and things like that. So it's, what do you think about these things? How have you been changing your thinking around how you express yourself and what's really authentic and real for you? It's been an upgrade. Let's move forward accordingly. And then Saturday the 7th is our last activation, Sun opposed Saturn. Now we're talking Virgo Pisces. This is an annual process of development. The Sun makes it personal and about you, the individual. Saturn helps move your timeline along and build the literal aspects of life, the basics of providing for yourself, food, shelter, etc., and your personal limitations. What renewed aspect of self got activated about 6 months ago, and how do you want that to fully develop over the next 6 months? This is a potent midpoint, the most powerful course-correcting time in any cycle. This one being an annual meeting between Sun and Saturn, a checkpoint between you and your responsibilities. Each year you evolve, some years more consciously than others, so this is a good time to check in with your own personal definitions of what you are or are no longer responsible for. Often this energy activates a push-pull between who you are and who you want to be, between what you want to do and what you have to do. My age-old advice is to do what you gotta do so you can do what you want to do. And while it may not be the easiest path, it is usually worth it for the peace of mind that it brings. You may swing between extremes of fulfilling all your obligations to the neglect of your own truth and purpose, or neglecting your obligations and doing whatever you choose, which only means that those obligations will be there when you get to them, and they will most likely have increased by the time you do. Balance is the key. Practice, there is no perfection, and it's time to practice handling business before pleasure. Absolutely, when we're dealing with Saturn, handle business first. Now, because next week is Thursday, September 12th, the monthly Power Circle gathering that we do is to pick a subject to talk about. And I only do it for these first 9 months of the year because the rest of the year is dedicated to cracking the ancestral code. And we will have those registration links soon. So those of you who want to do ancestral reverence with me and Yeye, definitely reach out directly. Level 1 is open to everyone. That's the basics around ancestral reverence, what we call remembrance, reverence, and resilience through ancestral storytelling. And then those of you who did it last year, and there's a couple of 2022s who need to come on and do level 2, which is radical self-acceptance through healing ancestral wounds. We go much deeper on level 2. But if you're new to the game, come on through level 1, and those links will be ready soon enough. But I want to give you a heads up for the last power circle of the year is going to be the North Node in Pisces, 25-26. It's coming soon. And this brings in the Virgo Pisces eclipses, which we are also beginning to experience this month. It is the first of 7. I did actually look it up. There's 6 of 7 are full moon lunar eclipses. So we are doing major endings, honey, on this Virgo Pisces axis. So we're going to talk about that Thursday the 12th, and I just want to give you a heads up. I'll run it again next week so that people have time to register, but those who register will get their post-call goodies, meaning where Virgo Pisces and Gemini Sag are for you personally. You know, on these calls, I talk about how it's going to affect us all, and then you get a personal note from me saying where it affects you directly. And so it's kind of micro to macro. I love covering both. I like to make sure that you all know what you're doing within the context of the social collective shifts that are happening too. And of course, this month is Virgo. So I've got the Virgo articles posted. The spider medicine link is above. Cook, conjure, and cure. This is a new class that Yeye's doing with 2 other ladies that I love. Iya Sabande, who is my Ile sister, and Priestess Flora Dominis have gotten together on a wonderful concept, but folks wanted to go deeper, so they created a class around it. Cook, cure, and conjure. So all you herbalists and nature lovers, you would love this one. And if it goes well, I think it's something they would probably offer annually. So check that out when you get a chance. The Power Circle subscription gets you your astro reports each month, the lunar tools, lots of bonus goodies. If you're really trying to learn your chart and follow along and learn how these energies affect you directly, that one's good for that. Of course, the Astro Tarot reading is kind of my signature reading if you want to just check in with your cycles. This is normally $200, and I have my student discount for $150. Reach out directly for if you need proper links. The Karmic Tools affiliate program is a way to get a little kickback when you share me with others, and lots of you like to do that, and I deeply appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And at the bottom of the blog is the Soul Sisters Circle invitation, which gives you a little bit of my story, the core values that run through all my circles, and what we're up to around here. For those that are new to the community, it's a good place to start. All right, y'all. I'm still doing re-entry. I don't know when I'll be able to report on what happened in Oakland. It was so transformative and beautiful. And we were so blessed to be together. It's so important. Everyone needs to be creating and cultivating these communities on the ground where we get to be with each other in each other's presence and exchanging true energy, not through the lens of a phone or a computer, etc., but direct connects. Let's make more of that happen. And let's use this week as energetic changes that this week is activating for everyone to plant some new seeds that make us a little healthier personally, that makes us a little stronger, so we can go be of service or fulfill our potential or activate our purpose and really live into it and not be living someone else's story or living someone else's narrative, and changing the story where we don't like it and upgrading where we need to and tweaking things as we go, not being attached to outcome or perfection, but wholeness is what we're going for with Virgo. We really want to get deep on the wholeness, bringing back to your personal center and how you can fortify that and feed yourself on a new level that way. And then going forward to do things with other people will go so much smoother. And we want to be able to do that because community is so important. It's important that we do things for ourselves, but not by ourselves, okay? So I hope to see you all along the way. This week's New Moon Money Pouring is Monday, Spider Medicine is Wednesday, and then the following Thursday is the Virgo Pisces nodes and eclipses. We're going to talk about those. So reach out directly when you need to. Join us when and where you can, and have a fantastic week. This is Kelly Beard of Karmic Tools signing off.